Hello, everyone, and welcome to Community Office Hours. Today, we've got a really interesting one. It's if you don't feel like learning Vault, but still want to secure your secrets. That's a terrible pitch, but I'm working at it. I'm Rosemary. We're here today with some of the HCP Vault Secrets team. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind you that this is an interactive session. So if you have questions or you have feedback on HCP Vault Secrets, please put them into the chat. As you do, however, please remember our community guidelines. Be welcoming, inclusive, friendly, and patient at all times. Be considerate, be respectful, be professional. If you need more information, we have a URL to our community guidelines. With that, I will have the team introduce themselves. We'll start with Kartik and then Val.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kartik Lunkad, and I am the product manager for Wall Secrets. I'm just going to call it Wall Secrets for this session. It'll be shorter. It'll be easier. But yeah, good to meet everyone. And yeah, I'm excited about today's session. Thank you for having us, Rosemary. Over to you, Val.
Hi, I'm Val Conklin. I realized I did not put my name fully on there like everybody else, but yeah, you can call me Val. Yeah, I'm an engineer here. I've been working on HCP Vault Secrets for a while, and excited to show you guys and talk about it.
Thanks. And hello, everyone in chat. I'm so excited that everybody is, announcing where they're from. It sounds like we have a very global audience today. So if you have specific questions about your usage of Vault as well, please feel free to put them in the chat. If we cannot answer your question here, we will try to follow up with you. With that, what is HCP Vault Secrets? We've mentioned it a couple times now, but I don't think we've actually talked about what it is. And can you explain a little bit of the vision for it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Vault has been Vault started as an open source project in 2016. I'm just going to take a quick sort of walk down the memory lane. And right from start, Vault was always meant to enable and tackle the secrets management problem in the various sort of scenarios and experiences that customers and users have always wanted. And so we started in the open source journey, working with developers, working with practitioners, and in solving those use cases. We evolved it to launch sort of a more of a B2B offering with Vault Enterprise. We gone on as the market evolved. We also kind of saw the need for a cloud managed version, and that's how we have evolved. And in the last sort of few years, what we have noticed is that with this sort of commoditization of secrets management in across cloud service providers and other organizations, we've seen this need from customers on wanting a secrets management solution with very little configuration, very little learning curve, and just be able to sort of store secrets and get started on their problem around secrets management, and not just secrets management, but also like secrets lifecycle management. And that's something we can kind of dig in a little bit more as to what really sort of what does that mean. So Vault Secrets is a secrets lifecycle management solution for managing your secrets, regardless of where they exist, and enable developers to access them from wherever they need. That's kind of the vision and the mission of the product.
Got it. So I guess the big question that people have is like, do I have to know Vault in order to use HCP Vault Secrets?
You don't. The reason we sort of created Vault Secrets was to sort of reduce the being more opinionated than and making sure that it's something that people can get started with a minimal learning curve, and sort of really get to their purpose of storing, retrieving, accessing secrets as fast as they can, as fast as they would like to. So really, the intent has to be make it extremely simpler and more opinionated, so that people can get started and run with it very quickly.
Yeah. I know, so there's some comments in the chat. Thank you. Great initiative. But also there is a big question about, will there be a live demo? And we might as well go straight into the demo, Val, because I think that would help people understand what exactly HCP Vault Secrets is doing.
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Now, live demo is a strong word because I did record a little video of it. Just because I'm slightly scared of demo gods, but I shouldn't be because our product's been working like perfectly well. But just to be safe. Here you go. So as you can see here, this is the HashiCorp Cloud Platform HCP dashboard. Once you make an account, you can see this and you can see all the different HCP services that we have. If you go over and click on Vault Secrets, which is currently in beta, you can see the overview page for the product. And so at the top here, you'll see we have a list of apps. And apps are just a logical grouping of your secrets. So however you want to group them, typically we're kind of doing this by application is a common setup for it. So for instance, I have like a microservices architecture we can imagine, like with an auth service, a user service, a payment service, something like that. And each of those has their own secrets inside. And then on this page at the bottom, you can also see some of our documentation as well. So if we go into that grouping of secrets, the app, you can see our secrets here. And so secrets are anything that is some sort of sensitive value, API keys, database passwords, things like that, things that you don't want to store in your source code or in somewhere, that people could see it, obviously. And so you can see some secrets that I've already created here for my auth service app. I can go and click on the reveal secret to see it if I want to. I can copy it to the clipboard. And then I can also, of course, edit the secret value and change it to something else. And when I do that and I save it, I'm actually creating a new version of the secret. So we have a version history for each secret. And if you click on the secret name, you can look at that. So you can see by clicking on that, like it was this and now it's this. And then this is what the first version looked like. And that gives you the ability to, look at what the history was, but also roll back with this rollback button to that previous version. And so now you can see we've created a version 3 of that rolled back first version. So kind of a simple flow for you there. And then let's see, if we go back over here, I can also add a new secret. So maybe my my auth service needs to talk to that user service microservice that I had. So maybe there's an API key for that. You just fill it in there, save it. You'll notice I didn't have to figure out any Vault specific stuff there. I just clicked and I added it right there. So let's actually talk now about how to use these secrets in your application. Actually first, before I do that, I want to show you guys the activity logs. Can't forget. So you'll notice that when I created a secret or edited or looked at it, you can see them all here, and I can filter by the different events. Like, okay, there's the one where I created the secret. You can see in the activity logs who did it, what interface did it. In this case, it was the UI, but if I added secrets from the CLI, it would show there too. You can see which version it was, things like that. And so that's just a really great way to kind of look at, it's almost like audit logs in a way for your secret, where you can see what happened and who did this and what time was it. So now let's look at, like I was saying, an application that actually uses these secrets. So here is a very, very basic, simple application, my auth service. All it does, I know, most simple app ever. All it does is it connects to my user service using an API key. Now, a lot of people, so there's where it does the API key. But you'll see that a lot of people tend to use environment variables to pull in their secrets. And so with HCP Vault Secrets, we kind of tried to work with that and find a way for people to feed in their secrets from Vault Secrets into an environment variable. So now I added this print line here where I'm going to actually print out the value of the API key. Just, don't try that at home, kids, but, just to see that it's actually working end to end, we're going to do that. But first, I'm going to actually show you that, just like a magic trick, I got to show you that, okay, I don't actually have the environment variable set ahead of time. So let's look at our API key. Nope, nothing there. And if I run my app, obviously, I'm going to get a, error message because I couldn't connect to my user service because there's no creds. No creds came in. So now we're going to actually use the HCP Vault Secrets CLI to log in to HCP Vault Secrets and then pull the secrets in like as environment variables. So you can download this CLI. VLT is how we write it. I don't know. I just say Vault out loud, but it's not the Vault CLI. It's its own dedicated CLI. Mac users can get this with Homebrew. I'm pretty sure we have it for all the major package managers for different systems. So you first log in, and you'll see that it takes you into the browser, so you can log into your HCP account there. I'm already logged in, so it just says login successful right away. And then what I want to do is I want to set up the CLI to know which app I'm working with. So I use this vault config init command, and then I can choose from my different applications which one we're setting up here. Then here's the fun part, the vault run command. And so you type vault run and then -c for command, and you pass it the command that you actually run your application with. So mine in this case is just go run, but maybe you have, you run some binary or you do Python, run, whatever. So when we do that, it actually starts a little sub process and it pipes that the API key into it. So you can see we connected successfully to our user service, and we can see that the environment variable properly got plumbed through. Awesome. So I want to talk next about another cool feature that we have, which are various integrations. So if you go over here to the integrations tab, you'll notice that we have a variety of sync destinations so that you can replicate your secrets across different destinations. So you can see Vault Secrets as kind of the source of truth for where you store all your secrets for all your workflows. And then you can use these sync destinations to, well, sync those secrets, like bring them into those various locations. And so we've got AWS Secrets Manager, which is great for apps that are running in AWS. We have more on the way. You can see docs at the bottom for some of the ones that don't have like built-in integrations. But what I'm actually going to show you is the GitHub Actions integration. So here's our auth service repo. If you go over to the settings, GitHub has secrets and variables in this actions section over here. There's nothing there at the moment, but I want my repo for CI purposes or whatever to have some of these secrets that we put in for the auth service. And so I can click on the add integration and configure which repos. Maybe just this one specific repo is the one that I want to do, the auth service repo. So I click on that and then authorize it to do that. And then here, if I had multiple ones there, I could change, but this is me choosing which destination it goes to. And then I just wait for a moment as it syncs up, and you will see that it says synced now, 3 secrets synced. And if I go over here and I refresh the page, you'll see that the secrets made it in there. Awesome. And so anytime I update a secret in Vault Secrets, then you're going to see it, like it's gonna change that on the GitHub side, which is great. Now, there's always that's all that I'm going to show today. I'm not going to show Secret Sync for AWS today, but I would love for you guys to check it out. There's a banner at the top here. If you can let us know what you think about the whole product. It's in beta at the moment, and so it's free to try. So it'd be really awesome if you can kind of play around with it, and yeah, just let us know what you think. And
awesome.
That is it.
Thanks, Val. I'm going to take this for a second.
Yeah,
we have many questions. So I hope you both are ready for it. Okay, so one of the first questions. Yeah, so one of the first questions that came in, Val, in your demo, you copied a secret to the clipboard. Does the secret remain in the clipboard, or does it get deleted after some time?
That's a good question. I think so I'm not a front-end engineer, and I think that would probably be a front-end thing. So I'm not sure off the top of my head, but if it doesn't delete it after some time, I think I've seen that feature elsewhere. So that's a really good feature request that we could look at.
Okay. So to be determined, but let us know. We'll put it on as a feature request. All right. Okay. So the next question is there more information about who has updated the versions? I know you showed the activity log, and I think it had your email, which I assume is the identity of the person who updated it. But also, does it have information on who viewed or accessed the secret? So what's the RBAC management like for HCP Vault Secrets?
Yeah, so in that, so first I showed the version history page where you can see the specific values or whatever, and I think that just has the person who changed it there. But in that more detailed activity logs page, you can see like who specifically updated each version, who viewed the secret. I think in my demo I kind of jumped quickly to the filtered created view, but obviously like who viewed it is really important. And so yeah, that is on there. And I don't know, Kartik, if you wanted to talk about the different like RBAC the RBAC setup that the HCP platform provides. Yeah.
Sure. Just to kind of complete that part, you can also see like what systems accessed a particular secret. So it's kind of going into the RBAC setup in HashiCorp Cloud Platform. By the way, Vault Secrets sort of leverages the native RBAC capabilities of the platform. So you don't have to sort of have a separate RBAC story for Vault versus, say, Boundary or Packer or Console. You can kind of leverage sort of the common pattern there. The HCP has, from a user management perspective, it has 3 roles, kind of like the viewer, contributor, and admin roles that you can assign to different people. Along with that, you can also use the concept of service principals to sort of effectively help generate credentials or keys for systems to leverage them to authenticate to the platform so they can fetch secrets as they need it.
Yeah, you saw me just using the user principal, so it always had my email and stuff, and it was just me.
Right.
But yeah, you can use service principals as well to authenticate from applications.
Cool. And I guess, is there management similar? So Vault has this policy system, right, where you assign it, okay, read based for these secrets, write for these sets of secrets. Is there something similar in HCP Vault secrets? And if it's using the HCP access control methodology, how does that map?
Yeah, so we kind of thought about that, and our intent was how can we make it easier for the users to be able to decide, and more intuitive in some ways for them to decide which people and systems get access to what resources, right? That's the fundamental question we're trying to answer when we set up policies with Vault, right? So the intent was the getting started story could be use HCP's RBAC system, and the great thing about that is that it's something you can sort of very easily configure through a few clicks on the UI. So you can say these users will only be viewers for this system, this set of resources, and these set of people and systems can be only contributors for certain resources, right? So it has this kind of really nice structure, which is also pretty common as you would see some of the other kind of the cloud service providers. So today, HCP has the 3 roles and a viewer, contributor, admin, and those are sort of corresponding permissions that you can find in our documentation. And those permissions apply to the 2 HCP concepts, organization and projects. What is in development is also to extend that concept to resources such as applications, which are a HCP Vault Secrets concept. So very soon in the future, you'll be able to say these users and systems can only access these applications and with only these permissions, so they can only perform these kind of actions with these secrets, right? So you can get very granular, but also you can configure them very easily using a few kind of the UI mechanism to do it.
Got it. Awesome. All right, so we have many questions rolling in, so I'm going to try to answer them all.
Awesome.
Ask and have you answer them all. There was a question about, does this only work on VS Code? I'm guessing there's a couple different ways that you can use and inject secrets into your application. So if you were using like an IDE like VS Code, what does that look like? What does that workflow change?
Yeah, this does not only work on VS Code. I was just using VS Code because that's my editor of choice. But if you the way that actually the secrets came in as environment variables is from that vault run command, where I'm passing whatever it is that I use to run my application. So in my case, it was go run, but it could be some other thing. And when you pass that, it creates a sub process and injects the secrets in as environment variables. So that's completely editor independent. And then I see there's a question about, does that CLI work on Windows? Yes, it does. I haven't tried that yet, but as far as I know, right, Kartik, there's a Windows one, there's a Linux one.
Yes, I have tried it out, and yes, there's a binary version of the CLI that you can then kind of download and set it up for your operating system. If you aren't using one of the package managers that we have supported. I would be curious on Windows, especially. I'd be curious for feedback on what is your package manager of choice, because there are a few. We definitely would look to support a more native package management based approach as well for Windows. So, but in the absence of that, you do have a binary method to install it as well.
Awesome. All right. So I think we covered this briefly, but just to make sure that we have it clear, and I do have the resource associated with it. Is there a way to make login work without the browser prompt for using HCP Vault Secrets for automation?
Yeah, the Vault login, the way that I did it is just because it was easy for me as a human user to do that. But you can pass in the the client ID, the organization ID, the project ID, things like that you can find in HCP, and then pass it in, and any machine could do it too.
Yeah. There is a tutorial which is kind of really nice. It walks you through both the human and the automation workflow. So I can also try to find and share that link. That's a good one. But yes, there is absolutely an automation workflow that you can do with the CLI.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll try to share out the link to those tutorials. Let's see. Oh, there's a comment about the Git integration being great. Their some appreciation for GitLab. Sounds like it. Okay. Speaking of integrations, how does this integrate with Kubernetes?
I would be very surprised if that question hadn't come up. So as you all may know that we recently launched, I think it was in March that we launched the beta, and then sort of launched the GA version of Vault Secrets Operator. So we're in progress of building out compatibility in a way that Vault Secrets Operator you can say, I need to pull secrets from HCP Vault Secrets, Vault Secrets Operator, can you do it? And soon it will be able to. So yes, there is an integration coming with Kubernetes, native integration that you'll be able to leverage.
Awesome.
Yes. In the meantime, you can probably do clever things with that vault run command.
Do we want?
I don't know. I'm not
Sorry, too clever.
So basically, it's like take vault run sidecar, do some fanciness there, but I guess it depends on whether or not people want to use another sidecar.
Yeah.
Or do it or package it as part of your application binary. Not sure you want to do that either. So, but if you want to use it now, you can. You might just have to use a couple patterns, right? Similar to Vault Agent and stuff like that. Okay, here we go. Can we rotate the secrets as per organization policies, and what types of systems are supported for that action?
Yeah, I'm sure Val knows this deep because she's been working on it. But we are in development for enabling sort of an auto rotation capability in the product that'll enable you to rotate secrets of specific services. Before we kind of go into it, I do want to kind of call out that auto rotation or even rotation of secrets is very native to the services that you use. Or at least if you want us, or if you want Vault Secrets to rotate it for you, you really need to understand what type of secret it is and make sure that we can actually talk to the service that's generating them and yada, yada, yada. So when someone asks about, can you rotate secrets? And I mean, the general answer is going to be no, we don't know anything about your secrets, so we probably can't. But if you're using one of the kind of the more common services or one of the cloud service provider databases and things like that, those are things that we want to enable auto rotation for. And that's very much something we're in development for, and you'll see that come up soon.
Yeah. So I guess one of the things that as someone would ask, right, if they're storing their secret into HCP Vault Secrets, that it's hard to do a rotation there, right? Because it's static secrets, and static secrets don't really have a lease. Is there a way for someone to know whether or not they should rotate it based on a certain amount of time in which that secret has been stored?
Yeah, one of the things, along with kind of the auto rotation, which is sort of the smarter technology and automation coming into play. The other thing which we are looking to develop in the product is give you a sense of all of your secrets, how long have they been around, whether they've been accessed at all or not for a long period of time, and have they been changed in a certain time frame or not, right? And be able to send you notifications that, hey, you haven't changed this secret in like more than 60 days, and you probably should, right? I think those kind of insights is something that we are planning to bring to the product, where you get that information up front for you, so you can sort of take the actions that you need. And I think as we go along from that insights, we'll sort of also prompt you to just take that action, saying, these secrets, these X secrets haven't been accessed by anyone in the last 6 months. Do you really want them around? Probably some of those you may need only once a year or something, but other than that, you probably can get rid of them. So make it sort of also more, you reduce your surface area for those secrets.
Got it. So another interesting question about not RBAC, but access, right? So is there a way that you can, or is there some thought around a way for you to issue an access token, right? So you only get access to this specific set of secrets for a certain period of time or with one-time use.
Yeah, we've been thinking about like a not fun, but also useful capability in this realm, where it allows you to share your secret once or for a period of time to other humans that you may want to, or other systems you want to sort of temporarily give access to, and also be able to sort of specify like how many times you can access it or how long is that particular access feasible. It's something we're sort of like more kind of just still discussing and looking into it. It's one of those things that gets a little more interesting, where when it comes to secrets management, there's like a slight overlap with password management sometimes, right? There's like secrets management is mostly systems, but there's also like sometimes humans sharing secrets, whereas password management is mostly humans sharing with other humans, but sometimes also kind of sharing with systems. So there's definitely a lot of inspiration from 1Password in terms of how they do the sharing of passwords, and that's something that we're definitely found super valuable as a secure pattern. So yes, this is something we're on our mind to kind of enable that sort of share a secret kind of capability. Nothing that's sort of fully fleshed out yet. I'll be definitely curious to hear more if there is strong interest in that area.
Yeah, awesome. So we're getting a couple, I'm going to let it simmer for a second. We're going to get a couple more questions in the chat queued up
Sure.
before I ask a huge round of them again to both of you. So we'll take a step back for a second, right? The folks who are tuning in, a number of them are used to Vault, right? They're used to the Vault interface. They're used to the idea of secrets engines, rotation, etc. When should you be choosing HCP Vault Secrets just versus Vault, right? Why choose HCP Vault Secrets in the first place?
Yeah, that's a really, really important question. There's sort of slight differences between Vault and Vault Secrets, and also kind of if you sort of take the full picture of like thinking about Vault Enterprise versus HCP Vault versus Vault Secrets, right? When the thing about HCP Vault Secrets, first of all, is that it's more meant to be a SaaS solution where we have sort of strong security model in place, and Val can kind of talk to it. But in those sort of HCP Vault or Vault Enterprise scenario, you sort of have that mechanism of dedicated clusters or dedicated tenancy. If you want it only for your organization, you get that entire cluster that you're going to store your secrets in. And then, of course, you can sort of segregate them by namespaces and so forth. With Vault Secrets, it's a SaaS service, so that means that it's multi-tenant by default, and a lot of the secrets are being stored on the shared infrastructure setup. So that's one thing. If you're like very particular about the tenancy and want to make sure that you get a dedicated cluster that where you store your secrets, you probably want to go towards HCP Vault. The other kind of like key differentiation, or when you should choose what, is around the use cases that you have. Vault Secrets, as the name kind of suggests, that it's mostly meant for secrets management. And it doesn't really sort of tackle the certificate management, key management, transit capabilities, encryption capabilities, things that sort of otherwise other versions of Vault do. So if you're thinking about HCP Vault, you want to think about data encryption, certificate management, those kind of use cases. And if you're thinking like more number of use cases, then you probably want to go towards Vault Enterprise. So that just those couple of questions are important to keep in mind as you make those choices.
Yeah. I would say
I think that
go ahead, Val.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think that folks who don't want to spin up and manage their own infrastructure in general will just benefit from Vault Secrets having such a simple, like, you just get started, create an app, create a secret, you're in, kind of a simpler workflow, I would say, for people that are, trying to just work with secrets and don't care about the very feature richness of Vault proper.
Yeah. If you don't need advanced data protection of like transit secrets engine and everything else, maybe you just want secrets management. This is it. It is interesting though. There is secret syncing, which is something that is I think more unique to HCP Vault Secrets. I guess what's the idea behind secret syncing? Why set up a way for someone to take any sort of target endpoint and synchronize some of those secrets into Vault?
Yeah, absolutely. When we were sort of just doing assessment of like what are the kind of key problems that customers are facing in today's date when we started building our Vault Secrets, and what became really apparent and really clear was that secret sprawl was a massive challenge that everyone faces today. And the reason for that, and a little bit again a quick sort of backdrop in that, in the last few years we have had a sort of all of the cloud providers launch their secrets management solutions. And what that has enabled is a really sort of native workflow for developers, because now as part of deploying or using one of the services on those cloud service providers, I can easily store secrets on those secrets managers. I have a very easy integration between them and I can get going. That's fantastic. And it's great for improving the developer experience. What that does mean is now I got secrets in all sorts of places. I have multiple secrets management solutions. I have secrets in GitHub. I have secrets in various places. And for the person who's actually responsible for managing secrets, that's a nightmare. So that kind of person or team is now thinking about, how do I make sure that there are not too many duplicate copies of those secrets? Or at least even if they're duplicate, do I have a sense of where they live? Do I know, can I control this madness, or rather the secret sprawl? And one of the things that we wanted to sort of focus on was you want to sort of not be focused on being the only last mile provider. We wanted to say what our objective to help that person or team solve, like managing secrets, is help them manage it better. And instead of trying to change or asking all the development teams to change their workflows to only talk to Vault, the first step, we're like, can we meet the team and the customers where they are? They already have these set up in place. Can we at least make sure that we can manage the sprawl a little better? And that's kind of where secret syncing has been really key to our strategy, is help at least manage the sprawl before you try to reduce it. Of course, over time, you probably, as a better security pattern, you want to store your secrets only in kind of one place, but obviously still have an easy workflow to fetch them. But at the meanwhile, at least, can we start with making it simple enough that they can sync secrets to wherever the developers need and still be able to have a central source for those secrets?
Got it. And I think there is a very common question that will come up, so we might as well answer here. Mm-hmm. What is the security model for HCP Vault Secrets? Because it is multi-tenant, right? So how are you protecting everybody's secrets from each other, or is it protected per application, per organization?
Yeah. Can I show the diagram? Is that,
Yeah.
can I do the?
Yeah. Show the diagram.
Let me share screen. Yeah, so this is kind of the security model basically for our service. And so, you know, whenever you're making a request into the Vault Secret service, like we're storing metadata about the secret in an Aurora database, but then Vault Secrets itself has very short-lived credentials that it uses to communicate with a completely isolated, completely network locked down AWS account where our tokenization service lives. And so basically Vault Secrets itself only has a token representing the secret. It's non-reversible, you know, it doesn't know what to do with that, but using the HCP authentication and everything, you can, or Vault Secrets can fetch that token, and the tokenization service is the one that actually stores encrypted at rest the secret data itself in its own Aurora, and all that is, you know, protected by secure, like a root key with AWS KMS, things like that. And so you can see it doesn't actually use Vault under the hood. It's using kind of a new setup, but we use Vault for our underlying credentials that run our service. We have an internal Vault that we use for that. But this is us kind of taking a new approach in the name of kind of a more simple domain model for users. We just want folks to be able to, you know, not have to worry about secrets engine mounts and all these different things like that. Just be able to focus on applications. You know, you've got your application, you've got your secret, and that's it.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to make a last call for any questions from the chat, because I think we have slowed down on the number of questions that are coming in. There are a couple lingering. I will ask them, but I did want to put out a notice to folks who, if you have specific questions, please put them in the chat, so that way we can make sure they are all answered. All right, so one of the interesting questions about migrations, right, or secret syncing. Does HCP Vault Secret support batch migrations from other password managers like LastPass?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, it does not today, but that's definitely something we're thinking deeply about, especially because, again, in the context of secret syncing, when you're saying, yes, you should make Vault Secrets as your central source and still be able to sort of sync the secrets as and where you need. Kind of the first sort of pre-step to that is like, all right, I can actually bring them from these different places into Vault Secrets. So can you help me with that versus sort of doing like a one by one? So there are a couple of things that are planned on the docket. One is like really like an import secrets capability where if you have secrets in your .env files or just want to like take a bulk of them and copy paste it into Vault Secrets, you could do that more easily. That's gonna come pretty soon, probably in the next month or so. Well, asterisks with everything I'm saying. That's kind of the current plan. We are thinking about sort of a more of a migration story where you have your large number of secrets in AWS Secrets Manager or GitHub or Vercel or some other places, and how do you sort of enable that migration or be able to move them once? So yes, on the docket, not something we have today.
I'm going to ask a tough question.
I can see the evil smile and
no. Is there going to be a way to migrate from HCP Vault Secrets to HCP Vault, right? Because I imagine at some point you're like, I have a bunch of applications and I have a bunch of these secrets. Now I kind of need a better way to manage it. Is there currently a thought around how to get from HCP Vault Secrets to HCP Vault?
Yeah, that's definitely, yes. That is a good question, and that's definitely something we've thought about, is to like, what is that story for users who started on Vault Secrets but do want to go to kind of like Vault or HCP Vault in terms of their transition. So today there isn't a particular sort of migration path what we are really thinking about, though, is that the reason, one of the sort of other meta reasons why we created Vault Secrets was we really wanted to test what the kind of like domain models that people will like and care about. And one thing we have already sort of started to see is that people have liked the kind of the simpler or sort of the model where you have apps and then you sort of use that as a grouping mechanism for your secrets. So the thing we are trying to do is how can we think about these patterns and bring them to HCP Vault so that when users sort of like use HCP Vault Secrets or HCP Vault, they don't feel different. Today they do, but that's kind of where our head is at. How do we make sure that that experience and pattern are like very similar between the two products? So in some ways, Vault Secrets is like that faster feedback loop. Can we learn quickly and sort of bring those good things back to HCP Vault? So in some time, you'll see them as becoming more similar in how they feel and use, and that will make the sort of the transition story also really simple, because now you're sort of like, oh, it's apps here, so great, now I can easily kind of move them over.
It does bring up a good question around what do I do if I have apps that share secrets, right? So maybe they use the same database password. Is the idea that I'll create two secrets, one in each app? Is that there's like a shared app that I create? Like what have you been seeing in terms of the way folks are thinking about this?
Yeah, I think it's obviously one is slightly dependent on how many of those secrets are shared versus not. That kind of sometimes governs or drives the sort of the like decision making around what sort of pattern you set up. What we are sort of pushing for is that there is two key patterns that you can set up. One, if you have like a lot of common secrets, you probably just want to create a common app that you set up a access control around. That way, more people can access it and use it as they need, right? But if you have kind of like one-off secrets that do need to be shared between applications, but we're sort of discussing the idea of referencing secrets where you say, hey, I don't want to like create a new one, but can you just fetch the value of app 2's secret X into my app 1 secret Y value, right? That way you can sort of not create that sprawl. I'd say like today you can, what I would advocate or recommend is creating that kind of single app that does hold the secrets, common secrets that two services might need. And then if it's one-off, then I think it's okay to like duplicate them. For most part, we wouldn't want to sort of create too many duplicate scenarios because that then again increase that sprawl kind of challenge.
Got it. Awesome. All right, we have a couple more questions, and then I think we're going to call it a day. So there's actually a really interesting thought. Is there a way to pull secrets in Postman from Vault? First of all, I don't think we have a way to do it from Vault necessarily, but even from HCP Vault Secrets, is that a possibility?
Go ahead, Val. Actually, you may know more than I do.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if Postman. I haven't used Postman a lot. I'm just old school, just curl everything kind of person. But like, I'm not sure if Postman has like already like some kind of secret import feature. But if you just mean like the ability to use like the API, there's a public API where you can. Does someone have the? Here's the. Can you paste
I can post
those
that.
docs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have an API that you can use to pull down secrets. You know, you could use this in automation or just from your machine if you're not much of a CLI or UI person.
Yeah. I will say that you could possibly do it with pre-request scripts or something in Postman. And I don't think there's a way that you can do it natively, but you could run it against an API right in your pre-request script. But I guess if you have the CLI command as well, you possibly could run the pre-request script. But you'd probably have to do that and then pass it in somewhere and store it in Postman.
I did want to kind of add one thing that we've seen these sort of questions of like, oh, does this work with that? Does this can I pull secrets from HCP Vault Secrets into this tool or X tool? One thing sort of we were focused on and are focused on is making the API and CLI really simple. That if you want to just be able to embed those into your tools, you could do it. So at least that sort of solves the integration question at the minimum. So you can very easily embed the API, as Val said, curl commands and or CLI scripts as and when you need. But of course, that beyond that, we're definitely look to wherever we can. We're trying to enable more native integrations as well between tools.
Got it. Okay, well, I'm going to go with the last question because we have to, of course, we have to round it out with, when is it going to be GA?
Yeah, that's the exciting one. So yes, we're when we thought about GA for us, the two big things were one, are users and customers willing to pay for this? Is this like really in the true sort of product market fit sense? Is this truly something that people find valuable and are willing to pay for? And I think we have pretty well, thankfully, we have gotten really great traction so far. We're at almost 2,000 plus users in the sort of like less than 3 months into this being launched. And we have already gone past 500,000 times that secrets have been processed with the product. So thankfully, we've gotten good traction and we have confidence that this is something that people find valuable. And the other was, can we actually set up can we actually also take money from people and set up a billing integration? So both of the answers we've gotten back yes. So we're at a good place, and we're looking to.
I was just going to say, and we are going to have a free tier still, right? Even after it's released, so people can still try it, right? Even in GA time. Yeah.
Great point. Yeah. So we are planning to, if all things go well, we're planning to release the GA version in the HashiConf timeframe. So it's coming up in, I think, October, second week. And as Val mentioned, there's going to be 2 tiers at launch. One is going to be the free, and like free meaning forever free, not time bound free, and something you'll get a limited set of resources that you can use to try out the product, maybe even use it for like a small team. And then the standard tier will be the paid version of it. Both of those tiers will be GA, and the standard tier will have sort of an SLA associated, which you can then also use for production systems. You could probably use the free tier as well for production usage, but the standard tier is where kind of we would recommend and would have sort of the right support with it as you would need.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to close this office hours. Thank you both for joining us today and for explaining a little bit about Vault Secrets and show us what it's doing, explain a little bit about where it's going. If you have feedback on HashiCorp HCP Vault Secrets, I'm going to put links to the feedback forums and the feedback mailing list in the description. They're just too long to post on screen. But if you are interested in trying it, give it a try and give the feedback. If there's an integration you'd like to see, the Postman one is really interesting. Definitely send the team a note. And with that, thank you both for joining us for Community Office Hours. For those who are in the audience, thank you for joining us and asking questions. Check out HashiConf, which is coming up in October. And hopefully we'll have a Community Office Hours coming up before that. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I just wanted to leave one thing before we go. We are always looking to talk to one and everyone. So if you want to say, hey, not just a note, I actually want to try and talk about one of these things or anything else you have, either of those emails that Rosemary said or the form, you can mention there and we'll get in touch with you and set up some time. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.